This is the ultimate content planning tool. Imagine planning your 2026 content around topics that people are actually interested in. Topics that are likely to grow your reach and increase your revenue. Let me present to you Pinterest Predicts 2026, the most recent installment of their annual trends forecast. Through billions of data points and careful curation, they have identified 21 trends that they predict are going to be emerging next year. And this is a ridiculously amazing and insightful tool for creators and business owners alike, because over the last 6 years, 88% of their predictions have come true, which means that if you include them in your content planning for the year, you're going to be actually creating content that people are actually interested in. And as a Pinterest educator, I am honored to share that this video is in partnership with Pinterest. I actually got to share on a webinar with them how I will be using the report to content plan for the year, and I'm bringing some of that info here to you today. So first, we're going to dive into some of the trends that I personally am super excited about. Then I want to share a little bit of a roadmap for how you can use this report to actually plan content going into 2026 and continuing as the year unfolds. Also, if you have been here for a while, you might be a little bit confused by why I'm so excited by this report, because I am not really a trends person. Don't get me wrong. I do have some TikTok dancing videos from back in the day. But overall, my brain is too chaotic and last minute for me to usually be able to hop on a trend effectively by the time it comes around. But the trends that Pinterest predicts are different. The fact that we are getting a peek into what the year ahead holds so far in advance works very well for my brain. I don't have to be so reactionary in such a short period of time. But also, as I have talked about up and down on this channel, Pinterest is a search engine. It is an evergreen platform, meaning that the content that you put there can be found months, if not years, down the line. So with Pinterest Predicts, although they are identifying trends that are kind of spiking upwards, these trends have staying power to them. The content that you put up will be discoverable long into the future. And one more thing on top of that, the fact that Pinterest is seeing a spike in interest in these specific trends, to me feels like a temperature check for a greater interest that extends cross-platform. If something's getting really popular on Pinterest, it's usually because somebody is making a plan to do something in real life. Switch up their look, decorate their home, go travel. So if you're like most creators who post on a lot of different platforms and a lot of different formats, you can have a lot of confidence that creating for these trends will help your growth, your success overall, not just on Pinterest. So let's dive into some of these. If I were you, I would bookmark pinterestpredicts.com so that you can come back to this throughout the year and content plan. First, I want to highlight some of the trends that are really speaking to me, especially as somebody who really creates content in the hair, beauty, kind of lifestyle space. But remember, this is not exhaustive. You have to dive in yourself. So first up, we have Gimme Gummy. In 2026, we're going full on gummy. Gen Z and millennials are behind this SAMR overload. Think bendy phone cases, elastic cheek tints, probiotic treats that have that spring back bite. So you'll notice as you go through these trends, they are giving you some visual inspo and also some key search terms or key phrases that people are actively searching for that fits under this trend umbrella. Then we have broached, which really stood out to me. There's a new way to wear your heart on your sleeve, or tie, or socks. In 2026, boomer and millennial men will punctuate their fits with vintage pins, crystal clip-ons, and heirloom brooches. And I know this is a trend that they're seeing a specific interest spike in men, but some of these search terms are genderless. And you're gonna see in the next section why my radar has honed in on those. We have laced up with an increase in interest around lace nails, lace belt, lace, lace, lace. Ooh, and I just want to shout out Pen Pals because even though it's not super aligned with my hair, beauty, lifestyle content, I now live in Hong Kong and I started a vlog channel documenting this journey. And the last time I lived abroad, which was 13 years ago, I was super into stationery and handwritten letters, and maybe, I don't know, seeing the fact that this is a trend that's emerging, that it's coming back, I'm gonna keep this one in the back of my head. We have cool blue. Meet the shade that refuses to warm up to anyone. This one's particularly driven by Gen Z and millennials. Glacier aesthetic, blue drinks aesthetic. Ice blue wedding dress searches are up by 55%. Glitchy glam, beauty creators. This one's for you. The perfect winged liner. She doesn't go here. This year, beauty is missing the mark on purpose. So we've got eccentric makeup, weird makeup looks, nails with different colors on each hand. Oh, extra celestial is just so ethereal and beautiful. Alien core aesthetic, opalescent, alien-inspired makeup, soft, dewy makeup. Ooh, and another one that I have seen sort of bleeding into my social media feeds is the opera aesthetic. Opera theater, midnight masquerade, opera outfits, ceiling draping, masquerade decor. This could be an interesting cross with Bridgerton. I haven't actually watched any of them, but YouTube keeps serving me shorts, so I feel like I know exactly what's going on and what's coming up in the show. And I think like a masquerade ball is a big thing in the next season, which I think comes out next year. So again, like these trends are more than just on-platform trends. Okay, now what do we do with them? How can we turn this report into our 2026 content planning best friend? You're gonna wanna take a paper and pen or use the content planning software of your choice. And I'll also actually turn this exercise into a downloadable Notion template for you. And what you're gonna do is go through every single one of these trends and write down one of 4 things. First, it's my favorite one. It's the work smarter, not harder one. Do you have existing content that can be leveraged for this trend? This could be content that you have posted already, or it could be content that is unposted, that never made it off your hard drive or your phone. This is great because this is content that you can leverage ahead of the curve. You don't have to put much effort into actually breaking out the camera, writing new scripts, editing everything all over again. You can get it online pretty quickly, making sure that your content, it's indexed, it's well positioned as interest continues to rise. And for this category of content, this content that you already have, there's a couple different approaches for how you can repurpose it. If the content has never seen the light of day, then you are sitting on a gold mine. You can do whatever you see fit. But if you've already posted content that fits into a particular trend, think of the different ways that you might be able to breathe new life into it. Maybe that just looks like going back to the pin's description and making sure it includes keywords and key phrases that were outlined in the Pinterest Predicts report. Or maybe that looks like curating a new board. Another option could be curating an aesthetic collage out of a bunch of individual pins that fit under a cohesive trend aesthetic. So for myself, I know I drew attention to broached, and that was because the search terms around maximalist accessories and heirloom jewelry had bells going off for me, reminding me of a series of pins that I made around jeweled hairstyles. I have a bunch of photos and videos that I still have not posted, and if I actually look back at what has been posted, I don't have those search terms included anywhere. So I'm not really giving my pins the best chance to be seen as this trend emerges. The second question to ask yourself as you go through the list is this: do any fresh content ideas pop into my head as I look at the trends and their accompanying search terms? Mark down whatever ideas come to mind. So as an example, I saw cool blue and immediately thought of doing box braids in this color. Over the years, I have accumulated quite a bit of content around box braids, and I have a board dedicated to colorful box braids. I've done purple, red, green, various natural colors as well. And this is a type of content that has consistently performed well for me. So it makes perfect sense to capitalize on this trend by putting in blue ones. This is something that will require a bit of foresight and planning. I'll have to buy the hair, put it in, do the style, take the pictures, etc. But it's a great piece of content for me to prioritize because I know it's in line with my brand, my audience, and something that people are actively searching for. Then for the third question, we want to look at each trend and say, if a specific idea doesn't immediately pop up, do I still think that this trend can fit into my content verticals? If yes, I want to make sure that I am revisiting this trend throughout the year. As you answer this question though, it's really important to not just look at the overarching trend name. You really want to look at the individual search terms through the lens of your niche, your audience, and the type of content you like to create. A perfect example of this is actually broached. If I just looked at the name and the initial description of the trend, I might just write it off as a trend for men. But actually looking at the terms, again, the maximalist accessories, heirloom jewelry, that sparked related ideas that might not have been super obvious or on the nose. So make sure that you put a little star beside these and maybe add some thought starters for how it could tie into your niche. And remember, just because you aren't inspired to create something specific right now, it doesn't mean that you won't get inspired later as you see content emerge from other people down the line. Looking at my own content planning, I'm keeping a careful eye out on extra celestial and glitchy glam because these trends have so much potential for the beauty space. Then for the fourth question, we are going to put on our business hats and think about income, specifically tied to brand partnerships. Pinterest Predicts is an incredible tool to leverage for pitching brands or infusing trends into planned partnerships for additional reach. As I go through the trends and think about the different concepts I could come up with, I'm also trying to think about who the best brand partner would be to help me execute it. Then I can come up with a concrete concept and pitch them using the data available in Pinterest Predicts. Thinking of extra celestial, I created content with these beautiful snowflake hair accessories a couple years ago, and I know that that company I bought it from also makes gorgeous sun, moon, and star accessories. So I might pitch them referring back to previous content as a case study, while also again pointing to Pinterest Predicts to highlight the benefit of capitalizing on a trend. I love Pinterest Predicts because it is not this one and done report. It is the best content planning tool to keep by your side as the year unfolds. You can use it to continue to monitor and brainstorm trends and prioritize your content creating accordingly. There's no need to flail around trying to create a bunch of different things and throwing it at the wall just to see if it sticks. Instead, you can invest your time in something that you can be pretty confident is going to move the needle. I hope this was helpful, and if you are wondering how you can continue to leverage Pinterest as a content creator, definitely watch this next. Thanks for watching, and until next time.